Hi, I'm Ravi. One thing that I have learned over the years is that whatever and wherever and whoever you are in your life today is the result of the most dominant thoughts in your mind. You are what you think about most of the time. Your mind is like a living magnet that attracts the circumstances, the successes, the failures, the people, the opportunities because of the kind of thoughts that you have in your mind. And fortunately, though, you have a lot of control on the kind of thoughts that you want to think. Of course, there would be times when your thoughts are disempowering, thoughts of jealousy, thoughts of poverty, thoughts of weakness, thoughts of lust, maybe. But the problem arises when any of these thoughts become your dominant thoughts. It's perfectly fine. We are all imperfect human beings where we will deal with all kinds of thoughts. But we have to choose that we do not let any of these disempowering thoughts become your dominant thoughts. And each of us has a lot of control and power on whichever thoughts we want to keep dominant. And once you take control of the kind of thoughts that you want to keep, it will define the direction of your future. Thank you.
Day 2. I have been a dabbler for most part of my life. I suffered from the shiny object syndrome. I would find something shiny or interesting. I would try it for a few days and then I would find something else interesting and I would jump into that without sticking to something for long. I've always been curious about self-development, personal development books, and I would find concepts, try them out, and then find something else and then jump to that. So this has been my pattern for most part of my life. But in the last several years, I have changed all of that and I've got rid of my dabbler me. So I have, for the last several years, I have been more consistent. Like, for example, I started a podcast and I completed 100 episodes. I started meditating and I have been consistent in the last 4 years. I now have a YouTube channel and I have been consistent with publishing videos almost every week. It's not what you do once in a while that shapes your life, but what you do consistently. So pick empowering behaviors and turn them into lifelong habits.
It's day 3, and the topic today is a result of a conversation that I had with a friend last evening, which reminded me of a podcast that I listened to of a role model of mine, Connor Neal, where Connor asks us to imagine a scenario, a very vivid imagination. He asks, imagine you are in a hall full of 2,000 odd people for a conference or an event. Ask yourself, what is that one thing you are best at amongst these 2,000 people? What is that one thing that you think you are the best at? You are a master of your field within these 2,000 people. And it's a very, very powerful question to imagine. We all have a good amount of life in front of us. How are we venturing into that future, imagining that we are going to be best in the field that we are operating in say in the next 10-15 years? What is that one thing that we are planning to put efforts day in, day out for the next 10-15 years to become the master of your field with a reputation of excellence? So this is something that is important to keep reminding ourselves, because it brings an absolute clarity to the way you are living. It brings not just clarity but focus. What is that one thing that you want to be best at in the next 10-15 years? It makes things simple for you to focus and to see that whether you are putting in the right kind of effort in the right area of your work, so that it all leads to a future where you will be the master of your field. So I thought I must share it with you because that might trigger you to think in similar lines and you invest your energy towards that future instead of dissipating your energies in all the other kinds of distractions. I hope you like this episode. I'll be back again with a new topic tomorrow. The longer you wait to take action, the less likely it is for you to take action. This is the law of diminishing intent shared by the legendary Jim Rohn. What this means is, when you have clarity, say during a light bulb moment, while taking a shower maybe, or while talking to somebody wise, at that moment you need to act, because at that moment your intent and energy are high. If you wait any further without taking action, then your intent, your energy, your initiative would diminish over time. I learned the law of diminishing intent through a book by Michael Hyatt, where he said, never leave the scene of clarity without taking action. And he said, after you gain clarity, there is no advantage for procrastination. You need to take action and go on. He also said that courage at the basic level is all about taking action. I hope you liked this episode. I'll be back again for day 4. Good morning. It's day 5 of my daily videos. I've often talked about many people who live lives of quiet desperation. Of course, they have a job, they have a loving family, they have Netflix that sucks away every iota of free time that they have. But nevertheless, there is certain emptiness and hollowness that is there in their lives. While there are many ways to instill inspiration into our lives, there is one effective way for sure that I would like to share with all of you. And that way is to compile and come up with a to-love list. We all have to-do list, but this list is a to-love list. So what's to-love list? To-love list is a list of things that you love to do, you love to be, you love to think, you love to study, you love to explore, you love to create. So the more things that you add into your to-love list, the more you are reminded of all the things that you're inspired by. And as you keep doing one thing after another from this list, you can't help but instill continuous inspiration into your life. And it works like magic. So if you sense a sense of emptiness or hollowness in your life, try this exercise. This might change the way you live your life. So what are you waiting for? Come up with your to-love list. Bye-bye. Good morning. It's day 6. Most people live through their lives in automatic pilot. Their lifestyle running in the same routine in loops and loops. Very rarely though, they step back, pause, reflect and reimagine their lives. And when they do think and reflect, it's often in reaction to a situation or circumstances or crisis in their lives. Now, any meaningful change and dramatic increase in the quality of your life won't happen in reactionary thinking. For that to happen, you need to proactively block time to think and reimagine your lives. My mentor, Rajesh Sethi, practices something called a to-think list. So what he does is he blocks 90 minutes slots, 2 slots in a week, where he comes up with a list of all the topics that he wants to invest deep thinking in to come up with creative ideas to those topics. It's just like a to-do list. Instead, he creates something called a to-think list. So what he does is, all he does is locks himself in a room for that 90 minutes and then just with the help of a pen and a piece of paper invests thinking, forces himself to come up with creative new ideas to reimagine his future. And when I spoke to him last time, he said all his major accomplishments in the last several years have been a result of this proactive deep thinking. So I've always said that retransforming or reimagining or reinventing your lives won't happen accidentally. You need to invest time to come up with solutions that are creative, to reimagine and to reshape your life. I hope you like this episode. I would urge you to also inculcate some sort of deep thinking into your life. It could be a to think list, but I would leave that to you on how you want to inculcate deep thinking into your lives. I'll be back again with another episode tomorrow. See you then. Bye bye. Good morning. It's day 7. Where do you want to be in the next 36 months of your life? And when I'm asking where do you want to be, I'm not asking where do you hope to be, but where do you decide to be? And there's a difference between hoping to become something and deciding to become something. You're not a manager of your life, you're a creator of your life. And how do you become a creator of your life? You become a creator by deciding what you want out of your life and then going all in, becoming hungry and obsessed about what you want out of life. Most of us, if we go back and reflect on our past, we often have a few things that we never imagined to have in our lives, but we worked really hard, obsessed about it, and then eventually it became a part of our reality. We all have done that, right? I mean, even for me, there was a time when I was not very happy with my current role and I was hitting a ceiling. And then I saw somebody in my organization with a title of product manager. And I said, this looks cool and this is what I want to be. I wrote it down on a piece of paper that this is, come what may, I'm going to be a product manager in the days to come. It took me a while. It took me 2.5 years to eventually bag the role. And then I moved to Germany. And today I've sort of taken it for granted, but it's not wise to take it for granted, right? So the point I'm trying to make here is wherever focus goes, energy flows. So I became focused, I became obsessed about becoming a product manager, and then I became a product manager. And that is the thing with anything that you are pursuing with all your heart. So whenever you do not know how you will eventually achieve that goal, you just have to be obsessed about it, and the map and the fog clears. The more you obsess about it, the more answers you derive along the way. So when I wanted to become a product manager, I did not know how would I land it, because I was not even remotely connected to anything with product manager. I was a technical writer then. But the more I was obsessing about my goal, the fog cleared and I was finding answers one after another. So that's the power of focus. That's the power of putting in energy. You eventually get all the solutions. So the thought for today was wherever focus goes, energy flows, and you can apply that to any aspect of your life. Thank you. Bye-bye.